Good evening,
Oh, you sound so much
Drew.
more refreshed this week.
I'm fucking tired. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, you weren't off
Oh yeah,
gallivanting for work like last
yeah.
week.
My voice sounds mostly normal. So yeah. Oh, how you doing?
Man, it has been a very full week of watching videos.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
okay. So before we get
hmm
into it,
hmm
and
hmm hmm
it's going to sort of explain the first topic that I have on.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for this. Okay.
Um, I don't think I'm not allowed to talk about this, but if I go back and ask you to censor a bunch of this later, don't be surprised. So,
Okay.
obviously, I'm week 3 of my new job.
Uh huh.
And I will say this, the onboarding experience has been very good.
Okay. Good.
So, it's interesting because I came from a role that in title is very similar to the role I'm doing now. And, it's both pre-sales and post-sales support for stuff.
Okay.
The focus is a little bit narrower because now I'm focusing on just like one piece of software. I mean, it has many, many facets, don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to turn this into like a commercial for the company I work for. But at the same time, I don't have to quite have the breadth and depth to talk about an entire cloud platform versus something that is part of a cloud platform. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, to that end, the onboarding experience is, my new manager has like a playbook for, all right, here's like the things you have to do before we sort of throw you to the wolves. Now, my last job when I got hired at Microsoft, there was
hmm
no plan, right? No, I mean, it's funny, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
But you were basically assigned a mentor, and again, I'm not saying this to sound mean, but if you had a good mentor, your onboarding experience was good. If you had a mentor that wasn't so
Okay.
good, and like nobody failed out, it's just that if when I go back and compare notes to people that were hired at the same time as me, we had drastically different onboarding experiences. Here,
Got it.
there
Okay.
is an official process, and there's like an internal employee academy that you have to go through.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, it's all sort of self-study. There's a couple things that I had to do where I had to record myself doing something and like submit it to like show that I have the competency to do the thing that they want me to do.
Okay.
But there's been technical training, there's been like some pre-sales training, there's been some internal process training of like, here's all the internal tools you need, and here's where our wiki is for this particular thing, and here's all the Slack groups you should join, and here's all the Google lists you should join. Like it's been a lot, but at the same time, it's been very structured, very organized. So anyway, I've been watching training videos for like 2 weeks straight, and I'm over it. Like I can't. Now, I have officially, I think, wrapped up as of today all of the pre-training that I have to do before I have to go be a part of an on-site training engagement. So as part of this onboarding process, there will come a point,
Okay.
and I won't get specific and say when, but there is going to be a point in this where I have to go out to a location. That is TBD right now because there are several locations in California, Atlanta, a couple other places. But anyway, I will have to go on site and do some in person training to do more in depth concentrations on certain areas. And then there will be like a capstone project that they will like divide us into work teams and do. It's all good, right? And then
Okay.
after that, there will be like a shadowing component where I'll sit on some calls. And honestly, I've actually got to be a part of some customer calls already just because of my knowledge and where I came from before. I was able to help out, which was super cool and very appreciated by everybody involved. Okay. I say all that because I heard a technology term today not today, but this week that blew my mind a little bit.
Okay. I'm ready
All
for
right.
this.
All right. So in order to properly do this, hang on. Let me find a
hmm
website that might properly. Okay, all right. So I'll tell you what. In your web browser right now, I want you to pull up Mastodon.
Okay.
All right. So,
Any particular instance
oh,
or
ours.
or
I
okay.
just
Okay.
assume ours.
All right. Going to our instance right now. Okay. All right.
So your Mastodon feed probably looks a lot like mine. All right. Now, in my feed, there are things that are happening. At the bottom of every feed, I want you to describe the icons for me from left to right.
Okay. The first one is a kind of a leftward facing swoopy arrow.
Swoopy arrow. Yep.
It's a swoopy arrow for replies.
Mhm.
There is this two arrows kind of in a square, kind of like they're constantly pointing at each other. I believe that is for boosting.
Yep.
There is a star for favoriting. There is a bookmark for bookmarking, and then there is the gross Android inspired share icon
Mhm.
of like the three dots,
Mhm.
and then there's a meatball menu.
All right. So when you say meatball menu, describe what that is for people.
Okay, that is three dots arranged horizontally,
Right. And
like meatballs in a meatball sandwich.
right. And typically what that is sort of the universally accepted website icon for some sort of contextual menu that means
Mhm.
more.
There's something under here. You should click on me,
Right.
yeah, or tap me, or whatever.
And
Yeah.
usually it
Mhm.
opens a sub menu where you can do other things. I mean, I've seen that the internet's lousy with this icon. It's on Mastodon. I think it's even on. Is it on Twitter? I don't really go to Twitter. Yeah, I see it on Twitter.
Okay.
I think I've even seen it on Facebook. But
Yeah, it's everywhere.
but we
It's
but we
everywhere.
call it meatballs because it's three little
Mhm.
dots arranged in a
Uh-huh.
row that
Uh-huh.
you might see delicious
Okay.
meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now in the upper left hand side of your screen, next to your username and your profile,
Okay.
there are three more dots.
And these are arranged vertically.
Right now, what do
Mhm.
you call those?
I I have began to call them the ice cream menu
That's what I call
because
it too, because
it looks like scoops of ice
right.
cream stacked on each other. Yes.
Scoops of ice cream stacked on top of each other that you might get at an ice cream
Hmm.
store.
Yes. Yes.
I heard these referred to something else today.
Okay.
Kebabs.
Kebabs.
The kebab menu. How do we feel about this?
Mm.
It was said so casually. Like, oh, you just click on the kebabs, and I'm like,
Were you
the
like
what
record
now?
scratch? Excuse me.
Yeah, right. And they're like, the kebab, like shish kebab, and I'm like, no, I heard what you said, but you're a crazy person. That's an ice cream menu.
Kebab.
But okay, but you open the door. You open the door to something here. What else have you heard this referred to? Because I've always you introduced me to ice cream and meatballs, and that's what I've
Yeah.
called it ever since.
I haven't heard anyone call it anything besides, like the ice cream menu. But let's be honest, the meatball menu is way more common.
Yes.
Like, yeah, the ice cream menu is less common, but I haven't referred. Is this one of those things where like everyone calls it a kebab menu and I don't,
Well,
and I'm the
okay.
weird
Well,
one?
see, that's just it, right? That's where my head's at. Like, am I the asshole?
Mm-hmm.
Like now, kebab menu. I'm sorry. Ice cream menus are very common on the Gmail interface.
Oh, okay.
Like if you've ever moused over something in Gmail, you have probably seen. Like I'm looking at my Gmail menu right now, and there is what can only be described as the singularity in the upper right hand corner because you have a kebab. God damn, see,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
infected.
yeah.
I'm infected now.
Mhm.
You have ice cream and kebab and fucking goddamn it and meatballs all living together in a grid.
Yeah.
But you have the ice cream menu, which they're calling the more icon underneath the
Mhm.
search, and then if you mouse over things on the left,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It is quite a places.
it shook me, Paul. It shook me.
Okay. So speaking of the Gmail interface, upper left hand corner
Yep.
to the left of the Gmail M,
Mm-hmm.
there is the three lines.
Yep.
What do you call that?
Hamburger.
Hamburger menu.
Hamburger. Yeah. That will always be the hamburger menu.
Okay, so on one hand, the kebab menu does bring it back into that kind of like dinner food. Uh,
Interesting.
meatballs,
Interesting.
hamburger, kebab. Uh, I don't I'm not a fan of the word kebab. It's it
Yeah,
doesn't sound it doesn't feel good on the tongue, especially when you say kebab menu.
right.
Like
Makes me hungry.
it
Makes me
does.
hungry because Cafe Istanbul has delicious kebabs.
I I I think I still like ice cream menu better, but as of right now, I will allow kebab. I'll allow it.
I have made it my mission at my new company to just
Uh-huh.
refer to this as ice cream menu to see where it takes me. I'm far I'm
Yeah.
far enough along in my career that
Mhm.
this is my undoing, then so be it. It is a hill that I am willing
Yeah.
to die on.
Yeah. I think it's the better of the two. It's better. It's better.
I think yeah, I don't necessarily dislike kebab. Ice cream menu, kebab menu, ham
I tried that. You're gonna get a bunch of food
meatball
menus.
menu,
Yeah.
hamburger menu. Are there others that we're forgetting?
I don't know. I don't think there could. I'm sure there is somewhere in some interface, but
I mean, other podcasts have debated the existence of Sharo,
yeah,
but
yeah. I like Sharo.
I like
I like
Sharo
Sharo.
too.
It's a good
I
one.
like Sharo
That's
too. All right, so be on the lookout for that. Kebab has infected my
uh,
brain because I heard it referred to it a couple times this week. And it's one of those things that once you sort of hear it, you're like, man, I have called it this other thing for so long. And then you start noticing how many ice cream and kebab menus are on your interfaces at any given
oh,
time.
they're everywhere.
I'm looking at one of my monitors right now. There are several on my Discord interface. There are
Uh-huh.
several in some of the websites that I have open right now.
Skype's got one. Skype's got
Skype's got
one.
one. I don't have the Skype window maximized.
It's in the bottom right hand corner. There's an ice
Well, that's
cream
ice
menu.
cream. Yeah, and
Hmm.
that is also has a hamburger menu.
Oh, it does. Yes, you're right. It does have a hamburger
Mm-hmm.
menu.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Steam doesn't appear to have any.
I don't have Steam open.
Yeah, yeah, we're taking a tour of our open windows right now. Um,
I don't have a lot of open windows right now.
I've got a few. One password has ice cream. One password has several ice creams actually. Now that I'm kind of like digging into it. Anyway,
Hmm.
that
Kebab.
really shook me. That really shook me this week. So we're gonna still call it ice cream. And
Kebab.
oh, what?
No, I'm saying the word again,
Oh,
and I'm just saying it over and over again. Kebab.
kebab? Are you
Kebab.
starting to come around on it?
I don't think I am,
Okay. It's okay if you are.
but I'll allow it. I'll allow it, but ice cream is better.
Kebab.
Kebab.
Kebab. Kebab.
Kebab.
Title.
just that word.
We were gonna break tradition at some point. I don't know.
I like it. Just kebab.
That's really gonna throw people, huh?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh.
We have a lot of fun here. All right. Any more on this? Do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
We did 13 minutes of that. All right. I made $14.
As a notary?
No, I haven't made any money
No.
as a notary.
Oh, damn it. Okay. How did you make $14,
All
Joe?
right. First of all, before I answer this, where did we talk about this? Okay. Way back in episode 184, we
Okay.
talked about the MacBook Pro keyboard class action lawsuit. I have received my
Yes.
settlement. It is $14.45.
Ooh, what are you gonna do with that money?
I don't know, man.
Mhm.
Like that can't even buy a decent drink these days. Yeah, so
Ugh.
I went out and got my mail as one does this week,
Mhm.
and I noticed the return address, and I was like, ooh. Now, let's be completely fair.
Mhm.
My keyboard was completely covered as part of the keyboard replacement program. It has been fine ever since, although that computer is now like my third string Mac. So, I mean, I'm assuming it still works, but I have a follow up. I have a side topic about that. But so I received in the mail, the check issued pursuant to the terms of the class action settlement, and then somebody's name I can't pronounce versus Apple. Case number, blah, 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 blah. You are a class member. Your award has been calculated in accordance with the settlement, and the enclosed constituents the full payment award. It's only valid until May 30th. We're recording on April 20th. Oh, we should be high for today, huh? It's the weed day.
420.
It is 420. Please deposit promptly. And it's a check for $14.45, which I think I spent more in that on gas to get to the place where I had to go drop my computer off to and from both times to get it fixed.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that win in a class action lawsuit are the lawyers.
Yeah. But yes, so we can officially close that chapter of our lives. Now, funny enough, so I just mentioned that I have 3 Macs. I have my new work supplied Mac. I have my MacBook Pro M1 that I personally purchased, which is now my personal machine, and I also use it for my side business. And I still have my 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch that is Intel based.
Okay.
How much do you think that computer is worth right now?
Okay, are we talking like selling it on eBay or selling it to Apple?
I will allow either answer because I have a number for both.
I'm going to guess right now on eBay, those are going for $800.
All right, so you're a little bit high. So
okay,
there's a range. It all has to do with the speed of the processor, the hard disk, and the RAM.
Okay.
The high end like i9, 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte, you are still fetching about $1,000.
Okay.
Mine is the 2.2 i7, 32 gigs of RAM, 512. Those are going anywhere from like 550 to 750.
Okay. I'm guessing Apple's like $400. No, $300.
You almost nailed it. $325 for a trade-in value.
I said 400. I'm like, no, they're gonna lowball. Yeah, 300.
And I swear, we were checking on this at some episode not too long ago, and I would have gotten a heck of a lot more had I traded it in before.
Man, but I feel like the market for Intel Macs is just like bottoming out,
which surprises me. Right? I'm sure there are people who still need Intel.
Yeah.
Right? Or for compatibility reasons.
I mean, I'm guessing those people are just going to Windows or Linux.
I guess. I don't know. I'm so the reason I bring that up is I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this laptop. I'm thinking about selling it privately, but I don't know, man. It's still fully functional. Like I actually booted it up today because I was going through and purging some like old devices from my Find My stuff. So I booted it up today. I mean, the battery was dead because I haven't turned it on in like 6 months, but I booted it up. It booted up fine. I wiped it clean, turned off Find My, all that stuff, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It works. It's perfectly cromulent.
Perfectly cromulent.
Perfectly cromulent. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? You know what I haven't checked is Facebook Marketplace. But you know what? Wag your finger all you want, but I will say this: I've had really good success selling things on Facebook Marketplace.
And I'm always anxious about the, like, if I sell it to Apple, right, then I feel like my obligation is complete. Apple has it, they can deal with it. I feel like if I sell it to a person and there is a problem, while I'm not going to do anything about it, I am going to have an awkward social situation to deal with.
Sure.
And that just fills me with dread. So much so that I would go, I'm just going to sell it to Apple for the $325 and not worry about it.
So I'm looking right now on Facebook Marketplace in and around Dublin, Ohio. It looks like 2015 MacBook Pros are going for anywhere from $300 to $400. 2017s for $650. A 27-inch, a 2017 17-inch for $550. That actually seems kind of low. A 2018, my model year, but i9 for $1,200. I feel like I could get like $700 if I really, really wanted to part with it. Oh, Apple 15-inch 2018 MacBook Pro, 256 gig for $1,300. Oh, you're high, dude.
It is 420.
Yeah. Apple MacBook Pro notebook 2018 15-inch 16 gigs for 425, but that's Michigan. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I mean, it's a good computer, and there's nobody in my immediate life who needs one. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
But to bring this all back home, speaking of class action lawsuits, I saw today that if you are or have been ever a Facebook user, there's also a class action lawsuit for that. So
I saw that.
I signed up. I mean, I like pizza. Like if they send me 15 or $20 and I can get a pizza out of it, like why not?
Yeah, I mean, also fuck Facebook.
Yeah, no,
So
totally.
yeah, I might have to get in on that.
Yeah, I saw it show up on the Mastodon feed today. So I'll put a link in the show notes to it if you want to check it out. All you have to know is you have to know your Facebook username, which they make it really hard to find. In fact, the instructions and listen, here's my conspiracy theory, right? So I was actually standing in line in Chipotle when I did this today, but I went to the lawsuit website and I was following the instructions and it asked you for your Facebook account name.
Okay.
And I didn't know there was such a thing.
Yeah.
And it tells you in the instructions like where to go find it. That's it. Like no, it doesn't work. Like
Oh, is Facebook
I
purposely
think
moving it because
I think they're fucking with you. They're making it very hard to find.
they're like, what did the lawyers say it was? Okay, move it.
Yeah.
Where to? Don't care.
Yep.
Just move it.
Yeah, they sort of tucked it in there, and at first I thought it was because I was on the mobile site, so like I requested the full site, and I'm like, no, this is not correct. So I wonder, like, are they breaking some kind of rule by doing that, or is it like, software's
Yeah,
hard?
I wonder. Yeah.
Anyway, so that was interesting. I would say check it out.
I will have to do that.
All right, I'll shut up for a little bit now. I want to hear about this big announcement.
Uh, I mean, as you know, Drew, I've been running a D&D campaign roughly every other week, for about 2.5 years. And a couple weeks ago, we ended the campaign. We finished, we wrapped up the story, we put a bow on it, did it all the way to the end, the finish line. Yes, it is possible, folks. You can finish a tabletop RPG campaign. They don't all fizzle out, though most fizzle out. Uh, you can finish them, and I did it, and it felt good, Drew. It felt good.
Good for you, buddy.
Yes.
Was that was the one that I was a part of until I got too busy,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think there was at least one other person that had to bow out of it too, right?
Yes. Yeah. Started with 5 people, ended with 3, but I was very happy with the way it ended. Put a nice little bow on the story. Though I will say, one of my goals going into this game was to get a Dungeons and Dragons campaign past level 10. I did that. Fuck, the game gets weird.
That's the problem. So I've been a part of my share of campaigns of many game systems: D&D, Star Wars, Shadowrun, Pathfinder, what have you. And you're right. Starting out in those games can be tough. Low-level characters are hard, but they're fun. Because like the whole world of building your characters sort of out in front of you. But you're right. Once you start having a party that was very powerful, you can really only challenge them with the utmost of shenanigans.
Yeah, like it's funny because there is a point where like you have, when you're very early on, like they give those low level characters. I'll say like even 1 through 5. Like as a dungeon master, you're like, okay, how do I give them a challenge, but not kill them? Because that would be no fun. I want them to feel like they could have died, but they succeeded. Then it clearly becomes, okay, like what nonsense do I have to derive to make the combat challenging at all? And then like especially with spellcasters, like I could have kept up and like looked at all of my character's new spell list and see what was coming, but I didn't do that because I was lazy.
Right.
and then they go, "I'm gonna cast this," and I'm like, "You're gonna do what now?"
Right. And it literally wipes out your challenge level 15.
Yeah, or like it introduces a new like almost like a meta to the game that I have to deal with. Like, okay, what do I do about that? Like they can cast, they can cast Force Cage now. Okay. Shit. Well, they're gonna do that all the time now. So what do I do about that? Okay. Uh yeah. It gets weird. It gets weird.
Gets very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my thing. I think that most of the people that I have played Dungeons and Dragons with ultimately end up min-maxing.
Well, I mean, yeah, that happens. Like it's fun to have a powerful character. Like
It's fun.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe I'm in the minority here, but when I build a D&D character, I want to build something weird. Like
yeah.
my last couple characters, I did not necessarily go heavy into one stat that made me, necessarily a combat monster or like like a powerful spellcaster or anything like that. I like the role play aspect of it. And I want to build a character that has like completely high stats in very, very useless or niche things. Because that's what's fun for me, right? Like I will absolutely get my shit pushed in combat. And I will probably also fail most skill checks. But just having like a complete weirdo, that's fun for me. Now, outside of your games that I've played, the parties that I have previously played with are exceptional min-maxers to the point where it's like almost not fun to be a GM just because they
Yeah,
will absolutely punish you.
yeah. And it becomes really hard when like obviously like a lot of characters who are min maxers are very combat focused. That just seems to be that's what they do. They want to kill things with the quickest way possible and just have insane dice pools and bonuses. That's what they want. It's hard to have a game where you have one of those and then you have another combat character who doesn't feel like doing that. And it's like, well, this one eclipses you in combat. Like yeah, it becomes tough.
Yeah.
Uh,
I I have been reading a lot about like tabletop campaigns recently.
mhm.
Um and I think that if I was ever going to play one or run one again, I want a very bite-sized campaign. Like when you ran the Strahd campaign, that
Yeah.
was awesome, right? That campaign had a clear beginning and end. And I
Mhm.
don't think I can't remember what level we ended up at the end of that. But it wasn't I don't
It
remember
wasn't
I don't
that
think it was
high.
very high. It might have been like 7 or
No.
8.
Yeah.
Like those episodic things I think are way more fun. Now there is something to say about having a character that is, has some longevity and backstory and like you can carry through multiple campaigns, but I don't know. I really enjoyed that to me was like the perfect length of a campaign.
Yeah, and it was good too because I was, I mean, the reason I went with for those of you who don't know, the Curse of Strahd is a published Dungeons and Dragons adventure. As a dungeon master, you can buy the book, you can review the book, and you can just get started. And I ran that like right as COVID hit,
Yep.
and I did that mostly so like okay, I had already played through Curse of Strahd as a player, so I kind of knew the big story beats. Uh, I could review the book, and obviously we were going to go to a virtual tabletop, and I didn't want that to be the focus. I wanted me to figuring out the VTT to be like the hard part of the game.
Mhm.
So I picked like just like punted and like, hey, I'm going to run this. This is what I'm going to do. I used Roll20. Roll20 had a nice thing. I could give them like $10, and boom, I had all the maps and everything for Curse of Strahd. I didn't have to do it. Like it was really nice. It was really easy. Uh, that was good. Yeah, it was good. It was contained. It was nice. It was good. Yeah.
And it was one of those things where yes, you had to commit to play the game, but
Hmm.
it wasn't the big I mean, I think we
Yeah.
played it for like 8 weeks, 8 sessions or something, 10 sessions
And something
maybe.
like maybe. Yeah.
And we got through it, and the characters at the end were like I said, were powerful, but they weren't ridiculously powerful. And like the combat and situations we got put in were also challenging to where like, we could have died at any point.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, you brought up an interesting there too, where it's like, yeah, most tabletop groups sort of fizzle because there becomes a point where people either get bored or they have other things going on. and everybody's just like, "Yeah, let's take a break." And that's like a kiss of death for any campaign because it's like impossible to pick that back up where you started. And like tabletop groups I've been a part of, it has been basically common practice to where there's probably an 8 to 12 session grace period of like get your shit told, right?
Hmm.
Because that's about it's going to run its course and somebody's going to want to like we basically rotated between D&D, Pathfinder, Shadowrun, and the Star Wars tabletop. Like that was the rotation. And like once one of those ran its course, someone else would step up and GM and we'd start a new campaign and make new characters and all that other stuff. Now the flip side of this is um a lot of these campaigns that I've been a part of haven't fizzled, and I think this is almost worse where they sort of get to a crescendo and the GM just makes it ridiculously hard to where people are going to die. Like
Yeah,
that is also not great.
yeah, yeah.
Like
I
it's the
know.
last session, balls to the wall. Like you're gonna fight the hardest possible enemies that you can fight, and if you die, well, oh well, campaign's over anyway, and that kind of feels
Y-
bad.
Yeah, I like running games, and I've like I used to be that. I mean, heck, I played tabletop RPGs when I was a teenager. I was that person. Uh, it was like, ooh, I'm gonna throw this at them and they're all gonna die. Ha ha, total party kill. Uh, so now, like for me, like I I get the itch to run a game because I have an idea for a story and I want to see where it goes. And for me, like I get just invested in the characters as the players do in their characters. I want to help them tell their stories. I want to like be a part of that. Like that's what I like. And it's like I mean, especially with D&D, like combat is a big part of that game. It's one of the four major pillars or whatever. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to swing your sword and cast your spell and kill the evil thing and save the world. Like that's the D&D trope. And I did that and it was fun. And like yeah, like I ramped up the difficulty, but I wanted to make sure that like, hey, like I don't want this to be something they cannot approach. I want this to be something that if they think about it and they're smart, I mean, like I've had the second to last big encounter. The players were like, "We are going to lose," and they teleported out. They used teleport and they fled. They was like, "Nope, we're out of here," and
Yeah.
that was smart because like things were going that way. And it's tough, like like you can have the most well designed encounter, but like players can just have some bad dice
They
rolls,
can.
and then you have to deal with that. Like, yeah, like or they're just not doing well, or like or you realize like, oh shit, like this is actually a little bit overpowered, and I need to figure out a way to balance this on the fly without being too obvious. But yeah,
I mean, I've had some sinister ass GMs that
yeah,
just do not care. They want to make the
yeah,
campaign hard. I mean, I
yeah.
think there was
That's not
I
fun.
think there
That's not
was
fun for
one
me. Yeah,
particular D&D
but
campaign where I had 4 characters. Like,
yeah,
and at that point, it's just like, why? And they were a
yeah.
stickler too. No, you start over at level 1, but the rest of the party's level 5, so it doesn't care. You start over at level 1.
That's no fun. That's no fun. Yeah, yeah.
But that's how they ran their
I
campaign,
know.
and I like the
Some
rest
people
of
are
the
like
guys,
that.
and it was hard, and I greatly
Yeah.
bear it. Now, I will say that total party kills where everybody dies done well are actually kind of funny too.
Oh yeah, it can be fun. Yeah.
So there was one particular Shadowrun campaign where we were sent on a mission, and I'll never forget. Like we fought our way in, and it was actually very challenging. And we had the briefing, we knew what to expect, and we went in, and it was 4 people in the party and the GM, and all 4 of us neglected to remember a very key piece of information that resulted in something blowing up and literally killing us. And there was no recourse. There was like we had a troll in the party that I think technically could have rolled enough dice to like soak, but we were all dead. Like we were in an airplane and we blew up, and it was the end. And that was like that was it. Like it was
That
like,
was it.
okay, well,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You were 30,000 feet and your airplane blew up. Like, sorry. Like
Yeah, you're dead.
your mage was like
Mhm.
obliterated instantly, so he's not going to cast any spells that's going to get you to the ground. Like, what do you think is going to
You're,
happen? Right?
yeah,
Like,
you're done. You're done.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that. And it was like as soon as he said it, like, um, the bomb all he said was, "The bomb goes off," and we all looked at each other like, "Bomb," and then we were like, "Oh, we were supposed to not." And it was like it
Yeah.
is in that moment, the way he handled it was so perfect because we all looked at each other and like, "Yeah, we fucked up." Like, there was nothing, like, we couldn't be mad about it because we were explicitly told, like, "This is a thing that's gonna happen if you forget to do this other thing," and yeah, that was it, and we were all dead, and that was the end of the campaign, and we're like, "Okay, we'll go play something else now." And it was just so like, the finality of it was just
Oh.
so yeah, it makes sense, right? So, like, we can't really
Mhm.
argue or be upset about it. Ah, man. So, not to hammer this home too far, but I assume you're probably gonna take a little break from tabletop for a while?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay, well, then my question in the doc is pertinent, so what's happening next?
I am going to try. I've got the 3 players who are left in my previous campaign, they're on board. I'm gonna play Cyberpunk Red.
Oh. Oh, I see.
Mhm.
I might be down for that. I've
Okay,
never played
okay.
that game.
I've played Cyberpunk 2020. That game was mathy and brutal.
Yep, yep, I've heard, I've heard,
Uh
I've heard.
Cyberpunk Red is I mean, I do not want to like it is much easier than Cyberpunk 2020. I even think it's much easier than Shadowrun. It's there's tons of skills, but like really it's straightforward, it's streamlined. Uh the I think the rules are really well done, but you know, it is excuse me, it's a cyberpunk game. Like it's brutal. Like
Yeah.
when you go like, okay, time to bring out the guns. It's like, yeah, being shot sucks.
Yeah. Well,
Like there's no like, well, I guess there is like a speed heal, but like generally speaking, like if you get shot, your option is okay, you get someone does first aid on you. All that allows you to do is start the natural healing process.
right.
You get to wait
Well,
and do
well,
nothing
so
while
it's
you
interesting,
yeah.
right? Because I mean, I'm one of the biggest Shadowrun fans in the world. I've always been that.
Mhm.
But if I'm being honest, like Shadowrun has a lot of interconnected systems, and the system I hate the most in Shadowrun is magic. So if there's a cyberpunk combat
Mhm.
focused, like futuristic role play experience that just gets away from all the magic, I'd be 100% in for that.
And it's interesting because so obviously people hear cyberpunk, they think cyberpunk 2077.
Mhm.
And that's a great like you can play that game and get a lot of the vibe and like the feel. But Cyberpunk Red is set in 2045. It's been like 10 years since the fourth corporate war ended. It ended with a nuclear bomb going off in Night City. Uh, Night City is still kind of fucked. The economy is fucked. Absolutely crap. Like it's hard to find anything. Uh, you know, the net that doesn't exist right now. Because I don't. If I mean, slight spoilers for 2077. You go through that story, you learn about like all the rogue AIs and the Black Wall, right? Well, that hasn't happened yet. The net has crashed and it's full of evil rogue AIs. So they
Yep.
basically were like, we got to turn that shit off. Uh,
Yep.
so net running is very much like, okay, your net runner has to go on site and do this thing, to connect. It's yeah, I'm excited. Like my heart is always like I love Shadowrun too. I love it to pieces. Always have. Uh the latest edition, heck, 5 and 6, both are they're just meh. They're eh. Uh Cyberpunk is very just like it's very clean. Uh you know, the rules kind of all make sense to each other. There's a great community out there of people playing Cyberpunk Red. Uh the the online tools like for Foundry, while not as good as Dungeons and Dragons, is still pretty damn good. So yeah. Uh
When do you plan on starting this up?
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I haven't put anything out, but I'm thinking maybe session 0 would be 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk.
Hmm. Okay.
I would absolutely like to try it.
Okay.
So, that's exciting because I was going to, like, kind of subliminally suggest Shadowrun, but this might be more fun because it's new and
Hmm.
yeah, I already know what kind of character I wanna play. I mean, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'm probably not as versed on, like, the whole cyberpunk, setting as you are, like, not cyberpunk aesthetic, but, like, cyberpunk,
Yeah.
the universe. You're probably way more versed on it than I am, but knowing the things that I know, I sort of already kinda know what kinda character I wanna play, so
Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, the big like if you play 2077, you're most of the way there. Just dial back the technology just a couple of bits, and instead of Night City being like thriving, people are getting kicked out of their homes. The middle of the city, that's not there right now. It's
it's a crater.
yeah, it's hot. It's still radioactive.
Yep.
uh the economy, it's mostly barter. uh and it's a seller's economy, right?
Yep.
Like it's probably much more valuable to have that assault rifle in hand than to have the money to buy one,
Yep.
because chances are you're not going to be able to.
And that
But you'll be able to find a buyer for it.
and
That's for damn
yeah,
sure.
and as a GM, that's interesting, right? Because that
Hmm.
means that it's gonna be very, very hard for players to get their hands on, like, super powerful gear, right? It's gonna be more role play heavy,
Hmm.
and your
Yeah, yeah,
combat focus is gonna have to be very, very,
yeah.
careful.
It's like, I've been watching some stuff, and like the one of the lead designers does Q&A. So like you have to be careful because like it's cyberpunk. Like if your characters kill somebody with an assault rifle, they now have an assault rifle.
Yep. Yep.
Like that's how that works. Uh so
Yeah, let's you and I
yeah.
chat
Okay.
offline, but yeah,
Okay.
you just gotta tell
Absolutely.
me what
Okay.
books I gotta buy.
Yeah, hold on. I can hook you
Oh,
up with that
you
too.
got something
So
that fell off a truck?
uh-huh.
Okay.
I encourage people to go and buy the copy, but I also provide mine to get people started. So yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool, 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 cool. Last topic for the night. Paul, should I buy a studio display?
Yeah. Is your LG 5K having any issues?
No.
No,
Okay. Well, that clears that up.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, they do look nicer. I've been down this road, Drew. I've been down this road. I've had a studio display in my cart. I've had a Pro Display XDR in my
Well,
cart.
let's not hold on. Let's not get crazy.
Uh-huh. I know. I haven't bought either one of them because like my LG 5K is fine. Now, if my LG 5K even for the moment, okay, granted, I can't use the ports in the back. I might as well just super glue them shut. Like they're garbage.
Yep.
I
Yep.
cannot use
Yep.
them,
Yep.
but I have a Thunderbolt hub. Everything's fine. Like if I even saw like one area dim a little bit or the color would get wonky or like I saw a dead pixel, I'd be like, this is garbage. And I don't a studio display like that.
Yeah. So
But
the reason I bring it up is that I have I have some funds that I can
okay.
spend on some office
Oh,
equipment.
okay, okay.
And obviously buying the stock studio display, the MSRP on it is $1,600.
You can't get that one.
Well, I don't know. So here's the dilemma I have. You're right.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have to buy that one because they make ones that have the adjustable stand, the height adjustable stand. They also have one that have the Visa arms
Yes.
or Visa, however you say that. Now that's if I buy it from Apple.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So our dear friend, and God, I wish if we were ever going to have a sponsor, I wish we could have them as a sponsor. Our dear friends at Micro Center have they currently have two flavors of it, and one of them is sold out. So basically, Micro Center has it for $100 off.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not necessarily still the cheapest thing in the world, but and they also have the nano texture glass thing, which I think is a scam. For
So what I have heard is like if you're in an office where sunlight hitting your monitor is a problem, or you choose to have your computer in like an open office with like you like having your windows open, you got big windows in your office, then I've heard that the textured display makes all the difference in the world. It changes it from not being able to see the monitor to being able to see it flawlessly.
Mm,
But if that is not your working conditions, it is not worth it.
wow.
That is what I have read. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they sure do. Let's see. I think you have to get. I mean, I think you're going to want the tilt and you want the tilt adjustable display, or the Visa. Where I'm doing the same thing you did.
Yep.
Now
I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I don't know what the answer is.
Kebab.
Yeah, kebab.
Uh,
I don't know what the answer is.
yeah,
Damn it.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean,
let's face it, the Pro Display XDR would be the right play.
oh, dude, I want one of those so bad.
I would.
I do.
I
really do.
I mean, our MacBook Pros can push them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought like there was a thing where like probably the old
Mhm.
MacBook Pros we have might have a problem, but our
Yeah,
new ones are fine,
You
right?
think you need at least Thunderbolt 3. If you have like Thunderbolt 2 or less, I don't think that will do it. But like, yeah.
God, that would look so good.
I know it would, wouldn't it? It would look just freaking. But then again, it's only what, like
It's
$5,000 without the stand.
$5,000. Now I would get the Visa adapter for that.
That's what I would do too.
And then I have a really nice gas actuated arm for my current like gaming PC's monitor that's 32 inches. And I would probably get something similar for that. Because like a regular monitor arm ain't gonna cut it. It's gonna be too heavy. So you need something that can support the weight and is easy to adjust.
I've checked the stand. I currently have a monitor stand that has like two parts. It's like one big stand for like the monitor and like a little thing that comes off of it for like the laptop, so it's off the desk. I love it, and I looked like, will that thing support the weight of the Pro Display? Oh yeah, easily, easily. So I'm ready to go. But with the Vesa mount, it's still $5,200.
Yeah, I mean before tax, right? Like,
yes, exactly, before or Apple Care. So,
would you get Apple Care for it? Something that expensive, maybe?
Probably. I would. Yeah, I would.
I want to see if I add it to my bag. I want to see.
Calculate tax.
I'm exceptionally curious. I mean, it's like $5,500.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Order today, pick up in store, unavailable. Yeah, they don't keep
those. They don't keep those in stores. Yeah. That's just gonna take up space in the back.
Yeah,
that can hold like 4 Mac Minis.
I'm also been looking at those.
Yeah, they're great computers.
Yeah,
so.
I would love to have one on my desk as like an extra. All right, well, you've convinced me. Like my LG is still alive and kicking. I'm with you. The back ports are garbage, but that's still alive and kicking, and that's what I use every day. But like, you're right. If it starts to go, I'll have a very hard decision to make.
Now there is also, if you're looking for another 5K monitor, I can't find the product page for it, but I do have a Verge link here. Hold on.
What is who makes it?
Samsung. It's their Viewfinity S9.
I seem to remember somebody talking about that. Viewfinity. What's the resolution on it? 5K.
It's 5K. Yeah, it's the same as the Pro Display XDR. Yeah.
So that's 5. What is it?
5,120 by 2,880.
Yeah, Micro Center doesn't have it. Damn it.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's on sale yet.
What is it? The Samsung. What's the model number?
They announced it at CES. I don't think it actually exists yet.
But what's the name of it again?
Viewfinity S9.
Samsung Viewfinity S9. Let's take a look at this thing.
Okay.
I heard it was ugly.
There's other S9s that are different.
Well, I have the DQ HD. I don't think that's the one.
Yeah, that's not it.
Viewfinity. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. That's not the ugliest monitor I've ever seen. I mean,
got that cute little webcam thing on top.
I mean, my Opal's been so good.
Yeah, dude, this latest software update has made it rock solid. It's to the point now where like I no longer worry about it like crashing or freezing. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now it is always just a little bit warm all the time, uh, but that's okay.
yeah. Yeah, man. Did they haven't announced the price for this Samsung one, have
I
they?
don't think so.
I'm just
It'd have
I'm
to be
sort of
cheaper than Apple stuff.
in the
Like it
coming
has to be.
months. Samsung says the View Infinity S9 will be released in the coming months, along with blah 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 blah. When was this monitor? This came out. This came out in January. I'm surprised it's not out yet.
Yeah. Well,
Really,
it's Samsung.
like I mean, I got the Verge article, but like it's not available on Samsung's site at all.
I don't see it yet. Expected release date. What does it say? It says we don't know when the release date is. Got it.
Viewfinity, yeah. No, I'm on the Samsung site. I don't see it. Yeah, I mean that's not bad. So it's 5K. It's not 6K.
It's not 6K.
Stylish aluminum enclosure, and what is it 24 or like
27.
27? Okay, so a little bit bigger than because the Samsung is, or sorry, the LG is 27, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So is the Studio Display and the LG 5K are all 27. Yeah.
I mean, dude, I
The
gotta be honest. Like, as much shit as we throw at the LG monitor, like it's still a very
it's
nice monitor.
I honestly wish it would die so I could replace it.
It's still a very good monitor.
Yeah. I have no complaints. It looks great. The fonts on it look just so buttery
They
crisp.
really do.
Oh. But like, yeah, I wish it would die so I could have a nice silver bezel instead of the black.
Yeah.
And it's a little thinner, and yeah, actually it's a little smaller because the bezels aren't quite as big, and yeah. Or just spend $5,000 and get the 32-inch 6K.
Please don't tell me to do that. Please don't tell me to do that.
I almost have, and then they're so fucking expensive.
They really are, and I've been close as well. I've been very close. All right, well, that's been a nice, rich, full episode. What do you say we wrap this?
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, we're online doing their best.com, on Mastodon doing their .best. I don't know, follow me or something. Send me a toot. That's it. Thanks for listening, everybody.